Okay, we are in chapter 4. Shaar HaBitachon is telling us how to live a life of bitachon, and he says that you should not put yourself in danger. Although we have to rely on Hashem and understand that our health and our sustenance comes from God, but that does not mean that you should put yourself into danger. And in fact, to do so would be an Isser, Deoraisa from the Torah of Lo Sinasu. Don't test Hashem. Now he explains, he says, besides for an actual Isser from the Torah, you also it is also foolish. It is not a smart idea to endanger yourself and put yourself in harm's way. He says, Ki nenu nimlat bazeh me'acha mishnei dvarim. He says, putting yourself in danger has two possible outcomes. Today we'll talk about the first one. The first outcome is O sheyamus, meaning you might die. You put yourself in danger and you say, God is going to save me. I don't need to take care of myself. God will save me. He says, what might happen is you might die. Yehu hamim misatzmo. What happens if you die as a result of this? So we're going to view it halachically, he says, as if you were the one who killed yourself. And he'll be accountable as this, as if he had killed another person. So even though his death was, of course, meaning the end result is, of course, decreed by God. God decreed this, but still he is the one who's responsible for this. And of course, there is a commandment that one shall not murder anyone else, and so you would be liable for this. And what's more is apparently there's another halacha says Shaar HaBitachon that the closer your relationship with the person who is being murdered, the worse the sin is. Yeah, onesh yosiroi. That is more deserving of the punishment. He quotes the pasuk in Amos that says, "Pursuing your brother," meaning his cousins, the Jews, is worse. So the closer one's relative, the worse the sin is, and who is closer to you besides yourself. You are the closest person to yourself. So he says this is the actual worst sin that you can do. And so by putting yourself in danger, you are committing this sin. V'chein and also the punishment will be very bad. He says, I'm going to give you a mashal. It's like the following. A servant, a master commanded the servant to guard a certain place for a specific amount of time. He says, don't leave this post. Whatever you do, don't leave this post until somebody comes and tells you you're free to leave. So what happens? He's guarding the post and he sees the guy's late to come. So he says, Nifra min hamakom kodem bo. He says, okay, that's it. I waited long enough. I know I was supposed to wait until somebody comes, but my shift is done. So what happens? So the master becomes angry and he says, why did you defy me? And he gets punished severely for this. So too, one who risks himself, one who kills himself by risking his life and behaves recklessly out of bitachon to Hashem. He abandons his post in the service of Hashem and instead defying by putting himself in mortal danger. And then he quotes, we'll finish with this story from Tanakh, so from Shmuel Hanavi that says the following: Hashem commanded Shmuel to go anoint one of Yishai's sons, who we know is David. At the time, Shaul was king. And so he asks God after he gets the command, he says, He says, if Shaul, who was the king at the time, hears about this, that Shmuel is going to anoint a new king, he's going to get upset, he's going to kill me. Right? That's what Shmuel Navi responded to God. And what happens? He says this was not a deficiency in Shmuel's bitachon in Hashem. In fact, what did Hashem respond to him? He says, Eglas bakar tikach biadech ve'marta lizboch Hashem basi. He says, yeah, I hear your concern. So go and make it seem as if you were just bringing a korban. And so we see that it was a correct response for Shmuel to take care of his own danger and to ask Hashem, this would put me in danger. How do I take care of that? And had it been an inappropriate response to Hashem, he would have answered him and said on something like Ani ha-mitzvah, achia machatzi v'ani arpeh. I'm the one who's responsible for death and life, and like what he said to Moshe. But so therefore we see that Shmuel really did the right thing because he was not putting him he didn't want to put himself in risk, and that is proper example of how to do hishtadlus. Okay, so we'll speak more about this next week. Everyone have a great rest of the day and have a great Shabbos.
Thank you, Rabbi. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbos.